Hi everyone, I'm Russ,
Mark,
and this is a spirited endeavor.
priming the pump edition.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to do some Glenlivets tonight.
Boy, are we.
Oh yeah. So we'll dole these out one at a time, but we've got a series of them that we're going to be doing. So the first one up is just the Glenlivet.
Yeah, so this is the Founders Reserve. Now, originally you have the 12-year, which was the basically bottom end Glenlivet, and then they came out with this one. And I think that the original idea was for this to replace the 12-year in certain markets. There was much wailing and gnashing of teeth from the general public, and they decided not to do that. So now they offer the Founders Reserve along with the 12-year.
Interesting.
Now we've chosen the Founders Reserve because it is related to one of the other whiskeys we're going to do, as you will see later.
Absolutely. So we're going to. The other one is also a reserve whiskey.
Yes.
So so we want to have a little bit of a through line here and see what the different finishes do.
Yeah, agreed.
This.
So this is pretty much what you would expect. It's a 40% ABV. It is a Highland. Glenlivet's a pretty well-known and somewhat respected name. It's basically what I used to drink before I got into this whole thing. So it's kind of interesting for me to go back and revisit it. Now, Mark, I don't know that you've had this particular one before.
No, actually, I'm not much of a I've not had much exploration with Glenlivet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've tried one maybe in the past.
Okay.
But in fact, I think you brought me over one that I tried, but I couldn't recall what it was.
Yeah. Read about it in a book once.
Pretty much. So I'm really excited to try this. And we've done a lot of whiskeys over the course here, but not a ton of Highlands.
Agreed. Yeah, we kind of got caught up in the peaty and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exploring the islands and islas and some Speyside and everything. Which, I mean, Speyside is technically a part of the Highlands. But our experience with the Highlands, there's like Glenmorangie and what was the other one? Glendronach.
Yeah, Glendronach was the sherry bomb that was a Highland. We've done a few of them.
We've done a few, but it's not our
really forte.
Typical.
Yeah. So this one, I'm curious to get your opinion on that because we have had some Highlands, and just to see what your take is.
For sure. Well, I mean, the Glenmorangie is going to be the one that I'm going to probably judge all other Highlands by.
Sure.
I mean, it's accessible. It's it's a great entry level whiskey. It's got some of the very typical Highland flavors of shortbread cookie and vanilla, and I know not all Highlands are that, but certainly there's enough of them that sort of bunch in there.
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. So this one is accessible. It's roughly $40, I think like $39.99 depending upon where you go. That kind of puts it in the ballpark of a Glenmorangie, perhaps. Glenmo, I think, is maybe a little less expensive, but not by much. But both of them are very easy to find.
Yep. So, honey lemon colored.
Yep.
It's a little thin in the glass. Not great legs, kind of thin legs.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, 40% ABV, and based on the price point, I would say chill filtration, more than likely color added. I mean, that's what you generally get in this ballpark.
Yeah, certainly these whiskeys like to go for consistency. So there's the blending and everything on that is probably an art form with this.
Absolutely.
To try to keep those flavors as consistent as possible, and then certainly the chill filtration and the color additive, if there is indeed color added on there, is just to keep consistency of that whiskey.
Sure, exactly.
So that smells like a Highland whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as Highland as you can get. So you've got the vanilla, you've got a little bit of like orange peel or maybe lemon peel in that.
Yeah.
Some toffee notes. No real smoke or peat to come by. It's very soft on the nose, rounded.
Yeah, it's what I've come to expect.
Yeah, a little malty.
Yeah. Shall we?
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, that's just nice.
Yeah.
It's vanilla. It's a little bit of citrus in there, a little bit of caramel in there. Just a touch of barrel spice.
Yeah. Just a hint.
Yeah,
It's what you would expect out of a Highland.
It's exactly what you would expect out of a Highland.
Yeah. I agree as far as the flavors that you brought up. Exactly what you're getting out of this. Again, it's exactly what you would expect out of a Highland. I think the citrus nature on this one is probably not quite as strong as what you get out of the Glenmorangie. I think the Glenmorangie is a little sweeter. I also think the Glenmorangie is a little thicker on the palate than this one. This one comes across a little thin to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't. There's no lingering. I mean, there's nothing that lingers on this one.
Oh, agreed.
It's there. It's a flash. You're getting all the things that you would typically get in a Highland Scotch, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that stays behind. It's very clean. It's not very challenging.
Yeah, going back second sip, I get a little less. The barrel spice remains, and perhaps I get a little bit more oak than I did initially, but some of the other flavors kind of subside. But going back to the nose, I do get a little bit more of the citrus notes.
Yeah, it's a little maltier on the nose too. Going back to it.
Yeah, it's almost like a lemon zest for me.
Yeah,
is what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think the Glenmorangie is more like an orange, where this is more of like a lemon.
Yes, I think that is correct. And now I'm not really getting those vanilla notes as much. I'm not really getting that shortbread cookie anymore. It's still sweet.
Yeah.
But not overly sweet. Like the Glenmo is much sweeter than this one.
Agreed.
I agree with your statement on that.
My view on this is as I keep going back to it, I get less and less. But on the nose, it actually gets a little better because I'm picking up things that I wasn't before. But on the palate, again, it just comes across as thin. I'm still getting the oak. But the other flavors that I got initially are kind of getting pushed back, and I wish those carried through. I would also agree that there really isn't much of a finish on this one. It's there and then poof, gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Which may be exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking to drink something that's not going to be offensive, that's not going to stick around, there's a time and a place for that, and this would be the perfect whiskey for it, I think.
Yeah, if you want to introduce a non-Scotch drinker to Scotch, this might be one to do it with.
I would agree with that, because it's certainly not going to offend anybody.
Exactly. It doesn't. It's not going to be turpentine, coming into it. There's some nice flavors in there. I mean, it's not going to overwhelm you with spice, for sure. You're getting those nice vanilla notes that you would want to get, in a Scotch. Somebody who you're introducing it to, I think, would probably appreciate that.
Yeah. Thinking about it, I'm thinking the oak in this case is probably the star of the show.
I would have to agree with that.
I think that's probably the more predominant flavor and the one that is present through all of the sips as opposed to the other one. So I would have to say that's kind of the star of the show. But again, not punchy in your face or anything like that, but just present.
Yeah, the other flavors fade pretty quickly. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. On our scale, what do you think?
2.5 maybe.
I'm going to go 2 on this one.
Yeah.
Not a bad whiskey. Again, I would have no difficulty drinking it. My issue, as I said before, that's probably bugging me more than anything is the fact that the flavors that I enjoyed initially just kind of dissipated by the time I got to the third sip. Little disappointed in that, but otherwise I did enjoy the flavors that I got early on.
Yeah, so fun whiskey. Certainly one to for a newbie. I think this is a great whiskey.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where you almost have to give it a try at some point, just because it's out there and it's in abundance, and they've got a name. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. So
nothing offensive here.
No, absolutely not.
All right, well, I want to be offended. So.
Yes, on to offensive whiskeys. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, we sure did. We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.
All right, bye.